Strange that he is fighting in a boxing match now against Antonio Tarver. And Antonio Tarver is past his prime as well.
Yeah, he's way past his prime. First of all, I sent you this, and I was like, I sent you a screenshot.
This got this confirmed yesterday.
Yeah. And you go, oh, what? I had the same response. First of all, Jack, why? Why is he doing this, Frank? What do you have to prove? You are a pioneer of UFC. You are a pioneer of mixed martial arts. You are one of the most humble fighters ever, and that's a fact. And they love you, and you're also one of the most feared grapplers ever.
Brock Lesnar won't like that.
Yeah.
Brock Lesnar doesn't think Frank Mir is a very nice guy.
No. Yeah. And then you got Antonio Tarver, Antonio Magic Man Tarver, the one who took down Roy Jones Jr., who everyone thought was unstoppable. And Antonio Tarver hasn't fought in boxing in years. I actually don't know. It must have been a little bit before my time, but it's quite some time. Antonio Tarver's in his 40s, and Frank Mir's...
No. 52.
He's 50. Really? Wow. Now, it's just... I don't get why. I'm sure they both got money. I don't know. Maybe they're just getting bored or something, you know.
Frank Mir is the... It's hard to say fresher fighter, but he's been a little bit more consistent. You know, had 2 fights in the UFC, got released after a 2-fight losing streak. Then moved to Bellator, lost to Fedor, had 2 more fights, lost one of them, one against Roy Nelson. So his most recent fight, he did win against Roy Nelson in Bellator. However, these are 2 very aged competitors, you know. Definitely heavy hitters, but far past that prime. And he won by decision. He hasn't back in 2019.
Yeah. Antonio Tarver hasn't fought since 2015. He was a light heavyweight though. He was a southpaw. He's a big dude, 6'2". You know, he's a pretty good boxing record with 31.
Yeah, he's an ex-champion.
He was. He was an ex-2 division champion.
Yeah.
He was the just looking at his record. He was the International Boxing Organization World Cruiserweight title, and he lost the International Boxing Federation World Light Heavyweight title and the International Boxing Organization. So it was the IBF and the IBO. He lost to Chad Dawson back in 2009. And he's fought at cruiserweight and he's won the cruiserweight titles as well. But he was mainly a light heavyweight. But I don't get why those two would even want to fight each other in the first place. Like, you could not get any more of a contrast between the two.
I found it weird with that they were on the undercard of the...
Oh, they're on the undercard?
Yeah, it's not a main event. It's on the undercard of the Ben Askren versus Jake Paul fight. So they tried to legitimize it a little bit by having Frank, you know, they've got Ben Askren, ex-UFC, ex-Bellator, ex-1FC a fighter. And then they've got, you know, Frank Mir versus Antonio Tarver. Frank Mir, ex-heavyweight champion in the UFC. Moved to Bellator after losing a couple of fights in the UFC. I haven't seen him fight since 2019, so that's about 1.5 to 2 years ago. And then we've got Antonio Tarver. Hasn't been boxing for a long period of time. Back in 2015 was his last fight. And you'd recognize him. He's actually from do you remember the Rocky Balboa movie?
Yes, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah,
he was the fighter.
He was Mason Dixon, the heavyweight champion. So, but that was that Rocky Balboa movie was back in 2006.
Yeah, that was that was after he was retired as well.
Yes, that was after he retired. I think it's difficult because Frank Mir is not a boxer.
Yeah.
Antonio Tarver is a boxer and he understands the sweet science. However, Frank Mir's younger.
Yeah.
11 years younger.
And he was always a grappler.
Always a grappler.
He was a big heavyweight. He was a smashing heavyweight, but he was known as a grappler. He was known for his heel hook over Brock Lesnar in his debut. You know, and then obviously
it's very weird. It's a weird matchup. It's a weird matchup.
It's a matchup that no one saw coming. Nobody asked for, and I don't know what is it. Like, the bookings for this was like, why are they even wanting to cross over? I think it's just because of their status as both fighters. They carry their fans with them and they're just trying to make a little bit of extra money because, you know, they're both competitors.
To be honest...
it's a 10 round as well.
Frank Mir, not in the UFC anymore. I don't know if he's still in Bellator because he fought back in 2019. However, COVID happened. So 2020, bit of a grey one for most people.
Mm.
But
Didn't you say? Oh, I think I know why. I remember when we did an episode of the podcast where we talked
it'll
about.
be for money. It's
Yeah.
always for money.
He tried to get into bare knuckle boxing, but his agent said it wasn't completely confirmed.
Right. I
So
do
is it-
understand. Yeah.
So maybe bare knuckle boxing wasn't working for him, or he
I
was
think
trying to
it's
get a
money.
deal.
I just think it's money.
Yeah,
Boxing, that's the most amount of money
Yeah.
you're gonna
that's where
fucking
the
get.
cash is.
That the boxing that's where the money happens.